Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own.
No.
Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently.
That doesn't
and so
apply.
trans women
That only applies to
are
a small
women too.
percentage of people.
Why are people clapping?
They
Like,
soft. They
what you-
soft. They
got-
soft.
I'm
Y'all bunch
so
of fucking sheep.
Sheep.
Sheep. What's up, babe?
What's up? Clear your throat.
Yeah. So it's damn trans shit going viral from Matt Walsh's channel, and about to tap in. So let's do it. I don't want to start with this one though. It's a little. I'm gonna give you a warm up.
Yeah, I probably need it.
All right. Matt Walsh, he got a YouTube channel too, and he wrote a children's book, and it was like, "Mommy, I want to be a walrus" or some shit like that. Essentially saying the same shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I identify as a walrus, and he getting paid. I mean, but he comes from our point of view, and
He does?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's up on.
Pro-trans
Doctor.
professor asks, I can't see the rest.
She asked why he cares so much about transgenderism.
There's the extreme approach that you are admittedly taking. And then there's also just ordinary people that might not be comfortable with the language change. And it just is awkward. And so they're afraid of not being courteous or being accepting. So there's like these two things. There's actually combating and not being, you don't like transgender, the idea of transgender. That's different than pronouns. But then just for most people, it's just feeling a little bit awkward and unsure and not wanting to hurt or offend somebody.
How she explained it was irritating me because she's coming from their point of view and she's speaking for the majority of us. She said most people is just it's a courteous thing. That's not where
They
most
don't want
people,
to offend somebody.
That's not where most people come from. Most people are they're like us.
Yeah,
You
like
know what
this
I mean?
is crazy as hell.
Yeah. But then she fucking puts a label on him like you're coming from like the extreme level of it where you just don't like transgenderism, whatever the fuck. That's not it either. It's
How
just
you
I
gonna
don't
tell
like
somebody about themselves?
How you gonna speak for me? Like you're not on this side of the fence.
Well, why is it important for educators to teach about gender identity, gender presentation, and pronouns? Why do you think that's important?
Because there is a difference. There is biological sex, and a lot of times people are conflating sex and gender. So there's biological sex, and then there's gender, and that's a social construct in the sense that just because you're born biologically a female doesn't mean you automatically want to vacuum, for instance, which is usually a feminine activity. Or
She's not answering the question.
She's not, but what? Just because you're a born female doesn't mean you want to vacuum?
She used that to provide the example of the social construct of where women typically
How about
do.
just women organs? Makes you a woman. Has nothing. You can be a masculine woman. You're still a woman.
And so it's this idea of giving children in age-appropriate ways an understanding that these things aren't set in stone. Gender identity is not tied to biology.
You say that gender's not set in stone.
Ugh.
Age appropriate though? When who are you to determine when the fuck it's age appropriate?
I think she's saying that like the way that you do it through different ages is gonna, you're gonna tailor it to that. But it's never.
It's never.
It's because
doing
they're
it.
so kids are
Well, do
so
anything.
influential
You put
that
some weed in front of them, they
introducing.
gonna smoke the weed. You say they can be a
Right.
girl and they're a boy, they're gonna be a girl. You say
You
they
wanna
can
be
jump
a
off a
Pokemon?
I'm gonna be a Pokemon. I'm a bear. I'm whatever the fuck. Like, why would you introduce that shit to fucking children? There's no such thing as age appropriate. Like, you feel different? We got shit for you to help you out. But don't be just putting that shit out there for everybody to fucking soak up. When it's only fucking like 5% of people, 4% of people.
No,
that even,
0.06. 0.06. We're not even. No, 0.0. This is less than 1% of people. I'm going to introduce something to my baby, my child, that could potentially set them worst off in life because of 0.05% of the world.
To make them feel okay.
And I'm so tired of this biology doesn't matter. Like, I hate hearing that.
Yeah.
It's not.
What do you mean?
I mean that's just factually incorrect saying that. So you have biology is the chromosomal makeup and reproductive organs and all of that.
Yep.
And so that would be sort of the nature side of things. But the nurture side of things is where we see more of gender identities.
She began by saying that my view is extreme. Okay, so the view that every single person on Earth has held up until 15 seconds ago is extreme, and the view that almost everyone does right now still hold as extreme, apparently, according to her. But there is this they are conflating gender and sex, because on one hand they say, well, you got your biological sex, but then your gender is whatever social construct. But then they turn around and say that trans women are women. So a man who identifies with the gender, the social construct of womanhood, actually is a woman. So if you can laugh all you want, but this is a logical problem. You are conflating sex and gender just by saying that. So that's the problem.
There's biological sex, and then there is gender identity. Part of me wants to ask why you care so much, because it's really not that big of a deal.
Oh yeah, can I answer that? I love it.
Because motherfuckers is soft. Motherfuckers is soft.
It's like people don't have logic. She could have said for the sky is pink, and they would have been like,
yeah, I'm not gonna fucking let you out here promote 2 + 2 = 5 when it equals 4. We're not doing that. That's why I fucking care. And everyone that clapped is so stupid, because she's sitting there. First of all, he finally spoke for the first time, and she's giggling. And why do you care? Yeah.
Let's talk about facts.
Because it's really not that big of a deal.
Oh yeah, can I answer that? I'd love to answer that question. I care about the truth. So basic truth matters. I want to live in a society where people care about the truth and we're grounded in truth. I care about children, and these insane ideas about gender are being foisted on kids, and that bothers me quite a bit. I care about the women who are having their opportunities stolen from them. I care quite a bit. Yeah.
Yes. You are a champion for.
Yeah. Thank you.
I care about the women that's having.
That was mic drop.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
What more can you? What?
Yeah. I don't know what you can say logically to that to like refute that. When women's opportunities are being taken away from them by men. At the end of the day, biological men.
Yeah. 50%, more than 50% of the world is women, is having their opportunities taken away by 0.066% of the world.
It's crazy.
And the fact that people are clapping for something that makes no sense, it's like people don't listen to listen. They just listen to respond.
They're sheep. They want to be on this side of it because this is what's
accepting. But you're actually hurting more people than you're helping. So what? Use your brain, people. Just, man, 2 + 2 is 4. Will always be 4. It's never going to be 5. And that's that. Women are women.
You can be
men are men. You can identify as whatever you want, but that is not going to change biology.
Facts.
And let's stop pushing the shit on our kids. Period.
Facts.
I'm Addison.
And I'm Ethan.
We've been together for about
5 years.
And
been married for 3 years.
I use they, them pronouns. Being non-binary just means that I just don't identify with the gender I was assigned at birth, and I don't identify exclusively with being a man or woman. I'm something in between, outside of that binary.
My pronouns are he or they. I also identify as a non-binary. To me, being a non-binary means having the sense of freedom.
So they're gay because they're 2 men?
I don't know what the hell they are. I think Buddy was born a man.
And
he identifies as whatever the fuck he identifies as. But I don't know. Would they consider themselves gay? I have no idea.
That's my question. That would be my question.
If 2 biological men are together, I guess that's gay. But whatever their identity is.
But the other person doesn't identify as a man or a woman. But biologically he's a man.
Yeah.
So if you're biologically a man and you're sleeping with biologically another man, you're gay, right?
Yeah, but I don't. Does the identity change the sexuality of it? I don't. If I'm a man, identify as a girl.
That's a good question. I'd be interested to ask. Maybe you guys can educate us in the comments.
But I'd imagine the people that would look at us as like homophobes or transphobes by our views. I'm thinking that they thinking that we're watching that we're like disgusted by it, whatever the fuck.
Well, we're trying to understand.
I could give a fuck. Like, do what you do.
I'm not disgusted by anything. I want to understand how it works. Yeah. I want to educate myself so I'm not stupid about this. Because to me, 2 + 2 always equals 4. So now you're trying to tell me how it's 5. So I need to You got to
Yeah,
explain it to me a little bit more.
Gotta carry the one over here and divide it. Yeah.
To explore my gender in whichever
he was
way I
born a
want.
man.
I
Born
don't
a
have
woman
to
because-
perform or pretend to be
wait.
someone I'm not.
Okay, so I missed it.
confusing. Because he had the
He's
scars
born
on
a woman?
Yeah, he's born a woman. You saw the little scars on
Oh,
his titties?
okay. Whoa, take everything I just said back. They're not gay. Right?
I'm not. I can be my authentic self.
It's really important for us to share more information with people because people are curious and they want to understand, but sometimes they don't always have the opportunities to do that.
This is a hot topic.
Yes.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is it a good thing?
I guess because it creates dialogue and it invites conversation to learn about other people.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are really confused about gender identity in these times, and it's good for us to have these conversations so people open their minds and relearn and unlearn to what we've been taught.
Right.
That'll later.
Well, Anderson,
Well, fuck that though, man. Relearn and unlearn what they're fucking taught. It ain't about that.
Why should
People-
99% of the world
But people-
relearn or unlearn anything?
People are not curious. The majority of people out here are not curious. They're not engaged because they're curious. They're concerned about the agenda being forced and making them move certain ways. That's what the majority is concerned about. People curious ain't gonna kill nobody. That's not gonna bother nobody.
And the long time effects, like Buddy said, on women and on children.
Yeah, like
And
that.
society as a whole.
But the fact that I don't know what fucking call
They.
the fact that they said that, it gives me like this entitlement shit. Y'all know what people's fucking issues with y'all is. Y'all fucking know it. Y'all want us to conform to how y'all want the world to move.
Yep.
But no.
Your way or the highway.
Yeah, but no. People are just curious. Nah, motherfuckers ain't curious. Motherfuckers don't care. It's a bunch of other people out here living their lives how they fucking live them.
How they want.
And they not influencing people like the way y'all are fucking influencing them. But y'all got the government backing y'all, fucking private institutions backing y'all. Everybody backing y'all, man. It's fucking stupid.
how do you explain the difference between sex and gender?
I consider sex to be our biological makeup. Our chromosomes, our hormones, our genitals is a biological makeup. But our gender is more of an internal sense. So think of it like this. Sex is what's between the legs, and gender is what's between the ears, right? It's how we see ourselves on the inside.
Okay. And that's something somebody can't know. Gender is something somebody can't know just by looking at somebody.
Nope, yeah. Because everyone is going to present and express themselves in a different way. I know, it's very confusing, right? Everyone's like, what is going on?
It's not
But it's
confusing.
really, about us breaking that assumption that we can tell someone's identity.
But why would you? The majority identify as what they were born.
99%.
Yes. So it'd be fair to assume you are what you present yourself as. So
That's a
why?
good assumption.
So why?
If you were a betting person.
Why would I remove myself from that? Why would I change that? I'm gonna to account for this 5.5% of people to no longer address people as what they present themselves as to account for how they feel.
That makes no sense.
It should be on them. Like if you are not what you present yourself as,
need
you need to let me know.
How you want to be addressed.
Yeah.
But if it's
And then
99%, come on.
and then don't take offense to me misgendering you if I'm unaware when the majority of the world operate this way.
Yeah, 99%.
That's the entitlement is out the ass.
We're going to change how 99% of the people speak to accommodate not offending 1% that might still go by the same pronouns or might not. And those pronouns also can change, right? Because it's like what's here and like depends on the day and depends
I'm supposed to know what's going on in your head.
Yeah, and if not, then you're transphobic, you're homophobic.
Logically, it doesn't make any
You're
sense.
women-phobic, you're fat-phobic.
I think it's really important for us to recognize other people's pronouns because, again, we can't make that assumption.
Why
But
can't
for so
we?
many people who are cisgender, meaning that you do identify with the gender that you were assigned at birth, you're not transgender or not non-binary, I think a lot of people don't even question their pronouns because we already use them and it's already assumed correctly. But for so many trans and non-binary people, that isn't often assumed correctly. So we need to take the time to get to know people.
No, we don't.
Why do they have two pronouns?
They can have whatever pronouns they want. It could change.
Yeah, but that's just a random question. Like, why is there, like, I'm just she? That's it.
I know you can have whatever you want to have though.
But why two? So, like, what if I use one, not the other? Is that going to...
I don't know. I don't know how that works. But at the end of the day, the onus should be on them to fucking let us know.
Yeah, you want to be
shouldn't be
called
a-
something else?
you shouldn't be
Hey, if
offended.
my name is Laura, but I really want to go by Giselle, I'm not going to be offended if you call me by my name. I'm just going to let you know, hey, Laura's my first name, but can you call me by my middle name?
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to expect you to know, to read what's between my mind, that I actually prefer my middle name. And then it's crazy as hell if the government made you call me by my middle name. I will call you whatever you want to be called. I will support whatever you want to do. The problem is trying to control the majority, change the behavior of the majority.
To accommodate y'all.
That makes no sense.
None.
And if it doesn't make sense, I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
It says adjective that describes a person whose gender identity matches or aligns with the gender he or she was assigned at birth. Now, this would be what has been traditional for centuries, right? Why does it need a term?
You know, if we don't use that term, then we end up saying maybe real men or normal men or regular men, right? Or we just say men, and then we say maybe transgender men, right? And the thing is that we need to realize that trans women are women. Trans men are men.
No,
too.
they're not.
And so we just want to have a term for that.
No, they're not.
Trans men identify as men, but they're actually women. And trans women are actually men that identify as women.
Trans men are men too. And so we just want to have a term for that privilege, that assumption that your gender identity is going to match the one that you were assigned at birth.
My name is Matt Walsh, and I've written a book called Johnny the Walrus. This book is about identity and imagination. He identifies as a walrus, and his mom's a little silly. She takes it seriously and thinks he really is a walrus. So she went on her phone, and there are people telling her that this isn't pretend, he's really a walrus. And his mother takes him to the doctor to have him surgically transitioned and gets him walrus hormone pills, and then eventually tries to drop him off at a zoo to live with other walruses. Not only topping the Amazon charts, my book has taken the world by storm.
You're saying that
That's real shit.
there should be no construct
This is
of
crazy
gender,
as hell.
just sex. You're either male or female.
Right.
And someone feeling in a mental, emotional way that they don't identify with the sex that they have been biologically created as and assigned at birth based on their genitalia. If they don't feel that way, that there's no construct that describes that, experiences that.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the reality. So you can feel however you want. I mean, I could sit here and say that I feel like a tomato plant, but that doesn't mean that I'm actually in those things. So your self-perception, you can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production. You don't get your own pronouns, just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives. You know, it's like if I were to tell you, my adjectives are handsome and brilliant, and whenever you're talking about me, you have to describe me as handsome and brilliant because that's how I identify. It makes no sense. You don't get your own pronouns. That's grammar. That's language.
So you think it's a delusion? Someone is self-delusional.
Yeah, I think it's delusion. It could be mental illness. It could be it's a lot of different things. With children,
Wow.
you know, there's also just a basic confusion that all kids have. Like that's why when you hear a parent say, "Oh, my 4-year-old son came to me and said that I'm a girl now, and so that's what I'm gonna raise him as a girl." No, you're a 4-year-old. I have 4 kids. When a 4-year-old boy comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm a girl," here's a good follow-up question. What is a girl? Ask him what he means by that. What do you mean by girl? And when you ask him that, here's what he'll tell you. He will tell you what he really means is that he wants to do some of the things that girls do, like play with the dollhouse, or you know, he likes the color pink. That's fine, play with the dollhouse, but you're still a boy. And that's a question I would like to throw out to other members of the panel, actually, because just like the 4-year-old can't answer what is a girl, well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. It's like, what is a woman?
Well-
Can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't. Because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everybody.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well,
how
that's
do you define a female?
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing, when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies,
Okay.
we can dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
Interesting. So I'm trying to understand. Your definition is that a woman is someone who is female, you said, right?
Correct. Is
Okay.
a biological female.
So what happens if we have maybe someone who is female, identifies as a woman, right? You know, cisgender woman, right? As you just explained, maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce.
That's
Maybe
not what
doesn't
he
have-
said.
That's not what the fuck he said.
He said your DNA. Your DNA has
That was
nothing
one.
to
That's
do.
one of the things he said. They have reproductive
Every
organs. But he
fiber
said
of
every
your body.
fiber in your body is going
Your
to
bones,
say that you're
your
a fucking
DNA.
female. She said she heard what she heard.
But he
They
didn't
heard-
even use
they
reproductive.
They heard what the first thing he said was they have reproductive organs. Then he went into the whole.
Is that the only argument you have?
Yeah, but like.
Yes, some people can't have kids.
Yeah.
This does not mean that your DNA, your bones, your everything about you, every fiber, like he said, you're not a woman. No,
Yeah.
it just means you can't have kids.
You just want to fucking debate. How can you debate that? How can you debate that?
They
It's
sure
coming
be
from a
doing
feeling.
it.
It's coming from a feeling. You feel like you're a fucking woman, so I'm a fucking woman.
He gonna
No,
give him
it's-
the business. I
That's
wanna
not.
hear
That's
him.
not how that works.
Maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce.
So she's not a woman.
Maybe doesn't have those organs that you're talking about that are reproductive organs.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not
But
myself.
you used the word, so what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right. So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people
That
who
describes what?
people who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own.
Ugh.
Each woman, each man, each person.
But how does that make you feel when you got motherfuckers out here trying to tell you what the fuck a woman is?
They sound so stupid. I don't have to be a man to say what a man is. A man is someone with men parts, men DNA.
But then they're changing it though.
Just because you identify as a woman does not put you as a woman.
Nah.
It doesn't. It just
no.
means you're your own category. You're a transgender woman.
That's crazy.
So they're saying this is just, men and women are a social construct and you can just choose which one you belong to. But then also they're saying that transgender men are men. Why can't they be their own category?
Facts.
Why?
Facts.
You're a
'Cause
transgender
they
man.
want to be included. No,
But it's
inclusion. It's just reality. It is what it is. You weren't born a man. All right, sorry.
Cool, your
whatever.
self-perception, be whatever you want, live your
wanna
life
be.
as whatever you want to be.
You are different. Man,
I
you're
want to
different.
find one person that can have a real argument because he said down to your DNA, bones, fiber, what you are biologically. And this person is going to say, well, what about the people that can't have kids? Have nothing to do with each other.
None.
Can't even answer what a woman is. A woman is whoever identifies as a woman. What kind of answer is that? That's so stupid.
Stupid as fuck. Stupid as fuck. It's like they're changing the definition of what the fuck a woman is. It's open to interpretations. It's different for everybody.
It's a social construct.
It's a
What was
social
the other-
construct.
Ain't no
You know what I'm
social
saying?
construct when I pushed this baby out.
You know what I'm saying?
There was no construct.
It's crazy.
Was to each their own.
Ugh.
Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently.
That doesn't
And so
apply.
trans women
That's only applies to
are
a small
women too.
percentage of people.
Why are people clapping?
They
It's
soft.
so
You want to
They
reduce
soft. They
You got-
soft.
I'm
Y'all bunch
so
of fucking sheep.
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 Use your brain.
What the
God
fuck?
damn, use your brain. What are you clapping for? You're clapping for a person that made no argument, that couldn't answer a question.
Y'all arguing for some shit that's gonna fuck y'all's kids up. You clapping for it though, cause you wanna just fall in line with the goddamn narrative of this stupid ass agenda.
Well, listen,
won't even
listen,
tell me
you
what the
wanna
word
reduce,
means, though. So
you
that's
want to
the
reduce
problem.
women, you want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals,
No.
our chromosomes, right? That's what you're
What
saying.
you want to do is
that's what,
what you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood and turn it into basically a costume that can be worn.
I'm really concerned
That's
about
hard.
what's going on in schoolrooms across the country.
Now you got some
The
parents
entire
coming in.
gender pronoun situation makes me feel very upset.
People may think that if you don't want to use the preferred pronouns, that you're against gay people. This is 100% untrue. I am a huge advocate for gay people, trans people, and the like.
Stacy and I both have children in the same school district.
I learned that the teachers in my children's school were asking for the kids' preferred pronouns in the classroom. When I heard about this, it was extremely upsetting.
Last year, my son was given a homework assignment. I gave an example of a child not identifying with the gender that they're born with. As an example of a homework that was given to my 8-year-old son. If a student is unsure of their place in the gender spectrum, or is experimenting with different forms of gender presentation, school uniforms can present a real challenge.
Oh my gosh. What is gender spectrum?
That's a great question. My son was really confused. I feel like I'm ambushed because now I'm explaining to my son. He asked me, what does sexist mean? As a parent, I felt trapped. I felt I had to explain these concepts to my son. I felt
forcing the parents against the wall. You putting parents back against the wall, making them engage in the conversation, and they're not prepared to have with their child this fucking certain age. And then you putting this information on the fucking kids, gonna confuse the fuck out of them. They fucking everything up, man. That's fucked up. That's so bad. I would be pissed. I'd be going, hey, who made this curriculum? I'm whooping your ass. That's the, hey, Royal ain't going to school. Royal ain't going to school. Room. Royal ain't going to school, man. Fuck that. Fuck that. 8 years old.
It's upsetting.
8 years old.
This is upsetting.
8 years old.
I see why he's upset. I see anybody who's a parent would be upset.
8 years old.
And we're letting...
and then they got problems that we upset about it.
like I was whittling away his innocence. This year, my 12-year-old daughter...
Don't even talk about sex ed at 8 years old. But you are right.
It's our job to protect our kids, to shield them, not...
My son, he asked me, what does sexist mean? As a parent, I felt trapped. I felt I had to explain these concepts to my son. I felt like I was whittling away his innocence. This year, my 12-year-old daughter had a science teacher ask the class about their preferred gender pronouns.
I don't want a teacher talking to my child about gender pronouns. It is not appropriate. It's crossing a line. It's unacceptable. This is a parent-child issue, not a teacher-child issue. I wanted my kids to have nothing to do with it. I had to pull both of my kids out of this school district.
I've decided not to pull my children out of the school district, but I'm fighting for change. I've been attending school board meetings for about a year now. What's happening across the country is teachers could get fired if they use the wrong gender pronoun. That just seems wrong.
This is my mission in life, to protect my children, and however I need to do that, I will. What Matt and I and a group of us are doing is we're working to have the school board removed completely.
You can't get
a
mad
lot
at
of
teachers,
people I
you gotta
know,
get mad
a lot of parents I know
higher-ups.
are afraid to speak up, and I speak for them, and I'm not afraid.
Arlo, how old is the baby now?
Oh, Sparrow's actually going to be 4 in February.
Has Sparrow decided as...
Oh, a gender?
Yes.
Oh, that's a great question. Sparrow is in a point of learning and exploration with a lot of things, including gender. Language with children at 4 is very, they're figuring it out. And so currently, Sparrow uses he for everyone. No, it doesn't matter what their pronouns are, and we mentioned it. They just call everyone he, they don't conjugate it correctly. They don't use him or his or anything. Just he for everything. So we joke that he is Sparrow's preferred pronoun because that's what they use for everyone. As far as for themselves, though, they're not coming consistently saying, I would like, I want to be a boy or a girl, or I feel like I'm non-binary. We don't have heavy, in-depth, overt communications. It's not like every morning I wake them up and say, all right, what's your gender today? Hoping they'll finally give me an answer. So it doesn't come up like that.
Okay, you decided this was important to leave
But why leave it
unspecified,
open? Assign them something
why?
if they ain't what they think they are. Have their
Because
conversation.
of the fact that gender is so social, and it is such a social construct. Now, we say we shouldn't interact with one another differently because of our genders. Everyone deserves the same respect and treatment. But it has been scientifically proven that children are interacted with very differently based on whether they are assumed to be a boy or a girl. Girl children are held more, boy children are given, mechanical toys more often, all of these kind of examples, anecdotes. And I felt it was important for Sparrow to get the chance to figure themselves out without all of that pressure, intervention, and programming.
seems like we should just keep the
What
dialogue
pressure.
going and
It
hopefully
sounds like
Buying a boy a car, toy, there's no pressure.
It sounds like they want the kids to have both the experiences, and it's not fair. They don't get to choose whatever. It is what it is. Fucking reality. Boy's a boy. You gonna have fucking boy shit going on until he tell you he don't want to be a boy no more. The fuck? Why open up Pandora's box? Leave that bitch closed, and then open that motherfucker when they ready.
Because remember, there's a 99% chance that box won't be open.
Why risk it? Why even do that?
It's like we're going to start doing cancer treatment for the 1% chance that this baby might have cancer. It's so stupid.
Doesn't make any sense. It's ass backwards.
we find some middle ground.
I have a question. Arlo, you mentioned that you don't have your child discussing pronouns or figuring out their pronouns yet. And yet in school, our kids are being asked what their pronoun is. I'm confused about how that works. And then there's always this fluidity right around what pronoun you are each day. So it's constantly changing. How confusing.
I think
For
what it
kids.
is. Oh, sorry. I think what it is that I sympathize with the hurt and distress that I sense from you all. I also wouldn't want my child to learn things from their teachers at school that were topics I was uncomfortable with, or I didn't know how I'd want to talk about them.
No, that
Your
ain't it.
children-
That's my role. It ain't uncomfortable. I'm comfortable talking about anything, but it's my decision to
At the
determine-
time that I choose.
Yeah, you can't. I'm uncomfortable about shit. No, fuck that. You can't take that shit from me. You can't force me to do some shit when I'm not ready to do it. Like you taking parenting away from the fucking parent.
Right. Are going to need to know
Why?
how to navigate a world in which non-binary and transgender people exist.
No, they do
This is
not.
a great conversation to
No,
have
they
at
do
home,
not.
Out of the school, this should
That's
not be part of
cap.
the curriculum.
Thank you.
That's
Or-
cap. We need to teach them how to navigate through life that they exist. No, the fuck you don't.
They've got a 99%
You learn through
chance
experience. You don't need to.
Right.
They don't need to be fucking equipped to handle that. When you fucking come into contact with somebody, you should be cordial enough, respectful enough.
Right. Thank you. You teach your kid to be respectful.
Yeah.
So if your kid came to you and was like, hey, Dad, I came across this person that looked like a boy, but they said they were a girl. How should I deal with it? Then you have the conversation.
Yeah.
Not we're just going to teach everybody.
As long as you teach the children how to be a good person, you have no problems. You know what I mean? That's it. But nah, we need y'all to fucking let them know how to handle us when they come into contact with us.
I can't wait. I mean, I don't even know if Pearl's going to go to school, but I will be at every board meeting, and my voice will be heard along with theirs because people are too afraid to speak, and too many people are sheep clapping for some stupid shit.
Bullshit, man.
That makes me more mad than them talking about their experience. The stupid people.
Crazy.
I gotta go get my son.
Yeah. All right.
Stop being stupid.
Stop being soft. Stop being stuck.
God, that makes me so
Facts
bad.
over feelings all day, every day. Yeah, man.